My garden and my work are very connected. I like sharing my garden so people have a space for doing what they do. It's much better when these paths cross and people inspire one another. Your own art form then grows because you've been influenced by a different art form.
Gardens are often thought of as these sites of beauty and cultivation. My garden is atypical.
My grandfather had a very beautiful garden. People settled there because the soil was so good. And because his garden had been gardened for so long, there were hardly any weeds. When I was young, it was my favorite place in the whole world.
Artist Helen Stewart's studio looks out onto her vast garden, which in turn inspires her books. In spring, inspiration strikes while working with the garden's most important element, the soil.
I spend more time on my soil than on my plants now. Everything that you take out has to go back in. Now I finally learned that that's the magic of the whole thing. That's the most important part. You have to continually be feeding your soil. I used to think when I died, I wanted to be a worm in my garden, as long as somebody was still taking care of the soil. My books have all been about the environment. The book that I'm working on now is going to talk about what's above the soil and what's underneath. Because what's underneath the soil is actually more important than what's on top. See that? It should look all red inside. Isn't that beautiful? People use this for healing for lots of different things. For me, this is the beginning of spring, when you see this plant coming up through the ground. Every year I watch for it to come up. From my grandmother's side, I had an artistic tradition, and from my grandfather's side, I had a gardening tradition. I always was drawing, and mostly plants and trees. I looked at the plants and how they were structured architecturally and how they changed, how it opens and how the petals fall, and the whole cycle of the plant. I became very interested in that. Most people's favorite time in the garden is the summer. That's maybe my least favorite. I like in the spring when the buds are just opening and the first rose comes and it's like a miracle. In the wintertime, you see the branches and the trees and the structure of the garden that you don't see in the summer. The whole process of printmaking is like a big puzzle that you're putting together. This all requires a gentle touch. With printmaking, there's so many different techniques. You could do it your whole life and not explore all the different ways there are. And gardening, you could spend your entire life just studying old roses, let alone a whole garden. If I draw something, I understand it more.
For Helen's latest book on soil, she is incorporating both new drawings and older prints in a digital collage.
So now we're to the leaves.
Well, what do you think? That looks pretty good, oh? With the
Yeah,
leaves?
that looks way better.
Okay, so and then I make the background a bit more smooth.
The way of illustrating the book is completely different than anything I've done before. The first plate that you do is a line drawing, and then you add the leaves or the flowers. So the plates are growing in the same way that the plants grow outside.
I'm continually drawn to less cultivated landscapes. I'll collect a lot of dead plants and draw them as well.
Artist Zachary Logan finds inspiration in the unwanted plants that grow in the margins. The beauty and resilience of these so-called weeds is the metaphor that underlies his work.
I collect seeds, I regrow them, I cultivate them in my studio. That's sort of my idea of a garden. It's particular plants that I'm interested in. Burdock is one that I draw quite a bit. It's just the scale that it can grow to when it's left is pretty extraordinary. Like this single leaf is literally the size of my torso. It's incredible. I started to think about plant life and particular types of plants as being stand-ins for the queer body. Weeds as these discardable plants. I think it helps to shift what one's idea of a garden is. Are gardens just plants that have been grown in a greenhouse that no longer have scent, that oftentimes won't reseed, that you have to keep buying them? The ditch flowers and the weeds become a sort of discarded garden. The resulting garden is unintentional. The queer body and queerness and marginalization all fit into that idea. I marvel at the insects. They are of prime importance to balance. Larger centers, London, New York, they have large sections of their parks that are just left wild to invite pollinators back. On Monday afternoon, I have to ship this, so I've got to get it done. Art objects may be political, but ultimately they're about contemplation and bringing your own experience to the work. Every time you go to a museum is going to be completely different, even if you're looking at the exact same work. You're going to have a slightly different frame of reference for that work because you've changed since you've been there.
I like sharing my gardens. People are always dropping by because they know they're welcome. If I see somebody looking over the fence at the garden, I say, "Do you want to come in and look?" My house is very unusual because it was built as a dance hall, so I can do things that other people can't do.
Helen opens her garden to artists of many disciplines. Painters, dancers, and musicians come together in the garden to inspire each other creatively.
I like the garden to be integrated into everything I do. I do many charity events and concerts and storytelling and dances. I just don't want the garden for myself. I like when other people can learn from it or feel happy in it or feel peaceful in it. I like sharing that. Having the ballet dancers in the garden, I learned something from that because I'm not a dancer. I don't look at the garden in the same way. Having music in the garden is beautiful.
So it goes like that's two, and then comes three.
I looked at each little section as if it was a painting, and I was actually working in what I was creating. If you're painting, you finish a painting. But in the garden, the idea that you plan out a garden and you plant it and then it's done, you very quickly realize it just doesn't work like that. It just never stays the same. You put a flower in and it's too invasive and it grows everywhere. You've got to take it out. You put something else in and you pamper it along and it doesn't grow at all. So you realize that's no good either. Musicians stick together, painters stick together, dancers stick together, but all of the art should be connected.
We are one species among billions. There is no separation between land and body. We're not outside of anything. We are land. We are the landscape. I went for a walk at night. I don't pick anything, but things that are pulled up, like weeds, I'll often bring them into my space. And if I don't draw them, I look at the form and think about it. So those experiences end up getting filtered into works about landscape and the body. And in a sense, all of these drawings coming together and being like a dreamscape. It informs what I do back in my studio in Regina in a really interesting way. I have no source material for this, I'm just drawing. Just become a part of the store of my own memory. So I sort of think about a flower and then I start drawing it and getting its botanical forms, but it's entirely from my own mind, so from my own body. So in a way, I look at these all as little self-portraits too. But this one had a very special purpose for being drawn from life. It was cuttings from a plant that was given to me by a very dear friend of mine who died last year. And I've had it in my studio since she gave it to me. So it's just sort of like a remembrance. I think I'm finished. It's like an overall balance based on my initial idea and how it turned out. Okay. Successful drawing, it asks questions, it doesn't answer them. There's something about poetry in particular that I find is relatable to a drawing. Datura. With a butter knife, I dug your bed. I bled on the dry dirt. You with those bluish leaves, and I with the reticent hopes of a new gardener. I will miss your specter, a small weed when I planted you. The night of your first bloom, I waited for you to unfold from a sharp lavender coil into a white trumpet, your casing shed like a loose pair of green trousers. I knew then you had planted me. In the nocturne, adjusted eyes see your purpose, swollen orbs, blooming remnant, a prickle of utility, split open to the spill of reoccurrence. We are precarious together. There's a simplicity in our epoch, quickening of skins, green, juicy, bluing, and pinkish. To ingest even a small amount of your blooms, seed or stalk, brings death, or possibly a 2-week delirium. Some attempt to harvest your meaning, tearing at your robust limbs. It is likely the cold that makes them heartless, impatient. I won't mourn their trouble. But Datura, I will find your bloom in the brassy wakefulness of winter, outside my window, 12 heads at the height of your dominion.
Now this turned out perfectly.
It's just to look at the colors. When you see them all together, they look pretty good.
They look good. Oh, very nice. My garden is nearly 30 years old. This is beautiful soil now. Black and full of worms. Luscious.